evening and welcome to Mas con Mas. I am your host, Raul Mas. Thank you for being with us this evening. We've got a terrific guest for you tonight, Mike Gonzalez from the Heritage Foundation in Washington, D.C. Before we go to Mike, I want to take a brief moment to thank our sponsors, Cachita Coffee, Longevity, and Grimal Joyeria that helped make this program possible. Thank you for the support, and I hope you'll enjoy this segment. As I mentioned, our first guest today is Mike Gonzalez. Mike is a senior fellow with the Heritage Foundation in Washington, D.C. Mike, welcome to the program, and thank you for being with us.
Oh, thank you very much for having me here, and I want to say a big thanks to your audience. Thanks for having me.
Our pleasure, brother. So listen, let's start with something very basic. Tell the audience a little bit about yourself. I mean, we're here in South Florida. Obviously have a very large Cuban-American community down here. You've got Cuban roots as well. So tell us a little bit the Mike Gonzalez story, and then tell us a little bit about the Heritage Foundation.
Yeah, so I'm a Cuban-American myself. I was born in Cuba. My father was intensely patriotic. He didn't want to leave, so we didn't leave till 1972. I was
Wow.
I was 12 years old then. I lived through the revolution, which was difficult enough. We were a very religious family, but I'm very happy I got to see that because I can use my experiences to help my country, the United States, stave off this seeping socialism that we see these days.
Right.
Heritage is a think tank. It's a conservative think tank. We come up with policies. We then take these policies and try to promote them to the administration or to members of Congress. Our policies are pro-freedom, pro-free market, pro-traditional values, pro-strong military, because you need a military to defend all these goods. Before Heritage, I was in the Bush administration. And before the Bush administration, I was a journalist for many years, 11 of those years with the Wall Street Journal. And I covered mostly Latin America, Europe, and Asia, mostly Europe and Asia, where I lived
you
for
moved
many,
around
many
a lot,
years.
Mike. I mean, you've been in a variety of different countries, right? Give us a list of those countries you've worked from.
Well, I lived in Spain as a child, but then I have lived in France for a year. I worked out of Belgium for close to 6 years. I lived in Hong Kong for 8. I lived in South Korea for 2. I worked out of Afghanistan for at least a month at a time. I've been there several times. I have lived in China for a month at least, in Nicosia, Cyprus for a month. So if you count the countries that I have lived in at least a year, that's 7. But I have lived in many other countries where I have had reporting assignments of several weeks. Pakistan is one of them. Panama, Noriega kicked me out, put me in prison, and then flew me out of the country in '88. So I've been around a bit.
Yeah. So listen, I mean, obviously you know the world. That's a great life experience, and I appreciate the fact that you refer to yourself and refer to the U.S. as my country. I tell people I'm Cuban American, but make no mistake about it. It may be hyphenated, but I'm an American first and foremost, and very grateful to this country and the opportunity to be here and have grown up here. And I think, like yourself, I mean, our lives would have been dramatically different had our parents not made the tough decision to leave their homeland and come here to the United States. So appreciate that sign of support for the US of A. And the Heritage Foundation, as I understand it, is pretty much the biggest conservative organization or think tank in the US. Is that a fair characterization?
Oh, very much so. Yes, we're also rated by the University of Pennsylvania, an Ivy League school, as the most influential think tank in the world, and we're number 1, 2 in our use of social media. As I said, our job is to research policy, to then craft policy formulations, and then to tell either both parties. We're nonpartisan. We are conservative, but nonpartisan. Look, this is the way to go. These are the policies to pursue. These other policies are not good. They're not going to be good for the country. So we think about the good of the country 24/7.
Terrific. So listen, so you and I actually met, via social media. We've never met in person.
Right. Right.
And the thing that caught my attention this past week, and the reason I invited you on the program, is you've got a new book out, the Plot to Change America. Tell us a little bit about that book. What motivated you to write the book, and give us some snippets as to what a reader can expect to find in the book. Show us the cover if you don't mind.
So here it is. It came out July 28th. It's not my first book, but it's selling very well for reasons that I find kind of troubling. It's selling well because the state the country is in. Basically, the book, it's about identity politics. Identity politics is a tool for changing the country. So the title of the book is The Plot to Change America: How Identity Politics is Dividing the Land of the Free. This is something that would be of direct impact and appeal to a South Florida audience, especially Americans of Cuban descent, Cuban ancestry, or Venezuelan ancestry, because they have been made foot soldiers in a struggle to change America, to transform America, to which they never signed up,
Yeah.
and which they oppose. So I think it is very important. What I try to do with my book is try to shed a light on what has been done, why it is done, who did it, and how they did it, and how we can undo it. We can go into that if you like. But
No, listen,
basically, that is
but
my book in a nutshell.
right before the program started, you and I were talking about, this Latino label that has been sort of, given to anybody of, Hispanic descent or coming from a Spanish-speaking or Portuguese-speaking country in Latin America. I personally, I've never been comfortable with that label. I mean, people ask me about my background. I tell them I'm an American of Cuban descent. And I make that distinction because, Latinos, quote unquote, Latinos are a very, very diverse group in and of themselves. And I would venture to say, and I don't think it's not a question of pride, it's just a question of fact, that Cuban Americans and our arrival on these shores and our experience in the U.S. is dramatically different from that of, Mexican Americans or Central Americans who are living in California or, the southwestern United States. Our parents fled here for political reasons, not for economic reasons. They came to America fleeing communism. And as a result, our view of the world is much different, perhaps, from those that arrived here, seeking better economic opportunities. Our experience was different, and our upbringing was different.
Yeah, and that can be said a lot. I mean, that's completely true. That is 100% true. That can also be said about the differences between Mexican Americans and Dominicans, for example,
Right.
or Puerto Ricans and Argentines. That's the problem. In fact, I start off my book. My first chapter after the introduction is about the creation of the Hispanic category by the government. It's an artificial, synthetically created category. Perhaps I should explain what identity politics is, and why it's not just that these groups are different, that Hispanics are not a monolith. That is troubling enough, but there's even something more troubling about it. So just very briefly, identity politics is the division of the country into groups that are based either on ethnicity or race or sex or sexual orientation or disability status. These are categories that have what overlays is that there's a claim to victimhood to them, right?
Right.
And this victimhood can then be used to demand attention and respect, but especially retribution, compensatory justice, rewards. One problem immediately that we see with that is that you have zero incentive to solve what makes you a victim. We used to have a claim to dignity by solving, the curves that life threw our way, by solving our problems. But if you have zero incentive to solve your victimhood, the victimhood stays. And there's a reason for that. The proponents of identity politics say these resentments, this victimhood can then be used to act collectively, the collective acts to change America, to change society, to completely transform America. And that is, I think, the part that should really offend your listeners, because first of all, they're told that they and their children, They are victims, and their children will be born at birth
Right.
as a caste of victims. What Cuban American wants that? Wants to thinks that that is his goal for his daughter or son, for them to be a victim. But the most offensive thing is to then say you are going to act collectively. No, no, no. They escaped collectivism, but you're going to act collectively to destroy and transform the traits that attracted you here in the first place. Hard work, delayed gratification, all these things. This is toxic from beginning to end. And your listeners in South Florida will find it offensive and should find it offensive.
Yeah. And also it flies completely in the face of, our country's motto, e pluribus unum, right? From many one identity, one country. That's basically, the motto on our currency. And yet, there is this movement afoot, like you say, to divide us, to put us in these categories. And I think, quite frankly, play us against each other. And I think that's what you've been seeing, particularly from the Democratic Party for many, many years, that have wanted to emphasize our differences rather than what brings us together. I mean, I think it's a toxic environment, and I'm certainly not in favor of it. Mike, we've got to cut to a commercial break. We'll be back in just a few minutes to continue this conversation and talk more about this divisiveness taking place in America, your book, your use of the word, the plot, and also talk a little bit about the ideological origins of these protest groups that are now out on the streets. Stick with us, folks. We'll be right back to continue this conversation with Mike Gonzalez right after a short commercial break. Thank you for sticking with us.
We are ENTV USA. Log on now and check out our live shows and subscribe. You don't want to miss this. Monday through Friday, 6 p.m. Eastern Time, Línea Deportiva, a sports line. At 7 p.m., O Que Chisme, the best celebrity gossip show with Odi Abreu. At 8 p.m., Punto Final, another angle of news. 9 p.m. Mondays and Wednesdays, we have A Lo Cortés with Tony Cortez. Tuesdays at 9 p.m., Dame Un Like. Thursdays, also at 9 p.m., De Noche con Roche. Fridays, 9 p.m., Más con Más with Raul Mascanosa. Every Wednesdays at 4 p.m., we've got Brisky Business with Dave Brisky. Followed by Inmigración en Fronteras with lawyer Irving Gonzalez at 5 p.m. This is our programming for ENTV USA from right here in Miami for the rest of the world. Con una vista, basta. Show some love and give us a like.
As you age, the collagen that helps keep your body in optimal physical condition breaks down faster than your body can replace it. But now it's easy to give your body the healthy dose of collagen it needs with Collagen Creamer from Youngevity. It's a delicious vanilla-flavored coffee creamer that's packed with 7.5 grams of bovine-sourced collagen peptides. Youngevity's Collagen Creamer uses 2 types of collagen to better supply the protein needed to repair and strengthen the connective tissue in your body. It also supports healthy hair, skin, nails, and even bones. We've also formulated Collagen Creamer with MCT, healthy fats that the body is able to absorb and convert into an instant boost of energy. Add it to coffee or one of your other favorite beverages when you need it. Youngevity Collagen Creamer. Support for healthy connective tissue and more energy, all in a tasty vanilla-flavored creamer. To learn more, contact your Youngevity associate.
Antioxidants are essential to protect your cells against the damaging effects of free radicals. TURMERIC by Youngevity harnesses the power of nature to combat free radicals by delivering a potent boost of antioxidants known for their incredible healing properties. Sourced from certified organic turmeric root, TURMERIC contains 95% curcuminoids, the active compounds that quash free radicals. Turmeric has been used in Ayurvedic and Chinese medicine for thousands of years to promote both heart and brain health. as well as its powerful anti-inflammatory properties. We've also included a botanical blend of phytonutrients that include flavonoids, carotenoids, and sulfides. These natural, plant-based chemicals are powerful contributors to overall health and well-being. Turmeric, the organic antioxidant supplement from Youngevity, formulated to promote optimal health. To learn more, contact your Youngevity associate.
Cardio Beats from Youngevity supports a healthy cardiovascular system and helps supply the nutrients your body needs to support better physical endurance. Your capacity to last a little longer is largely based on how well your cardiovascular system expends oxygen and circulates blood through your body. Cardio Beats helps combat the oxidative stress caused by physical activity by supplying you with key nutrients that support your cardiovascular system. These nutrients have also been shown to help improve endurance. Cardio Beats starts with organic beets, a rich source of nitrates to support healthy blood flow and oxygen transport. We've added whole foods from highly bioavailable seaweed and mango fruit, both known for blood flow support, and antioxidant-rich sweet cherries. Then, for even more heart health benefits, we finished it off with key amino acids. Take your physical endurance to the next level with Cardio Beats. Talk to your Youngevity associate for more information.
Just because you're a certain age doesn't mean you have to look it or feel it. Immortalium by Youngevity was developed to support your body's ability to age normally and healthfully. It's an advanced anti-aging supplement that combines the most effective essential nutrients in a cutting-edge, bi-layered and extended release tablet designed to support your telomere health and natural aging process. Telomeres are the biological clocks within your cells that form the protective ends of almost every chromosome in your body. Telomeres help prevent the chromosomes from deteriorating. The longer and healthier the telomeres in a cell, the greater the health and anti-aging benefits. Immortalium contains synergizing antioxidant enzymes and telomere health-promoting nutrients that are quickly absorbed to give your body time to break down the antioxidants and put them to work. Immortalium, advanced anti-aging support that can help fight the natural aging process. To learn more, contact your Youngevity associate.
As you age, factors like health, weight, diet, and lifestyle can all impact your bones, joints, and general mobility. Over time, you might start to experience stiffness or pain due to damaged joints or connective tissue. Ultimate Glucogel by Youngevity was created to help you limit the effects of wear on your joints. It delivers a daily dose of collagen-rich gelatin your body needs for joint elasticity and maintenance. Ultimate Glucogel contains a 1-to-1 ratio of gelatin and glucosamine sulfate, which is a key building block of your bone matrix, cartilage, ligaments, tendons, and connective tissue. Gelatin's unique blend of amino acids not only help with muscle and joint health, but also has been shown to provide additional benefits for the brain, skin, and hair. Ultimate Glucogel. Natural, optimal daily support for joint health. To learn more, contact your Youngevity associate.
Paying attention to your overall health also means focusing on the command center of it all, your brain. Factors like stress, lack of sleep, poor diet, a sedentary lifestyle, and the bombardment of pollutants and toxins can all diminish brain and neural functions. When was the last time you concentrated on your brain health? Synaptive by Youngevity is a cutting-edge, unique brain support supplement that delivers powerful nutrients both immediately and throughout the day. Its anti-stress nutrients provide instant brain-boosting support that helps with mental focus and cognitive activity. To enhance your body's neuroprotection, Synaptive's full-spectrum antioxidant blend targets 6 major classes of free radicals that inhibit brain function. This powerful nutrient combination also promotes healthy blood flow to the brain. Synaptive, optimal antioxidant neuroprotection and support for a healthy brain. Now that's something to think about. To learn more, contact your Youngevity associate.
19. Maintain social distancing. The best way to prevent the sickness is to avoid exposure and to avoid exposing other people. Maintain a distance of 6 feet whenever possible and cover your nose and mouth with a handkerchief or mask when in public. Avoid hugs, handshakes, and big reunions as well as events indoors. For more information, please go to floridahealthcovid19.gov. This is a message from ENTV USA for the community.
Welcome back to Moscow Mas. Thank you for sticking with us. We're having a great conversation with Mike Gonzalez from the Heritage Foundation, a conservative think tank based in Washington, D.C., very influential. Mike just published a book, another book, I should say, called The Plot to Change America. We were talking about that before the commercial break and what the book is about. Mike, show our audience again the cover of the book and let them know where they can find it.
Well, they can find it on Amazon, bookstores. It's selling, as I said, relatively well for reasons that have to do with what America, the crisis America is living through at the moment, the political crisis.
The Plot to Change America. And I noticed on the cover you have sort of these LGBTQ colors and Black Lives Matter colors and the American flag intermixed, right? I mean,
That's the thing. I mean, these are subnational identities that are created specifically to draw the loyalty that should go to the nation state, the sense of common purposes, to have this sense of common purposes go to the subnational identities that are then used to undermine the society and the country itself.
I think where we see that very prevalent in the conversation today is in that very phrase, Black Lives Matter, and the outrage that Black Lives Matter proponents express whenever somebody corrects them and says, no, all lives matter. They don't want for the focus to be on the universal human aspects that human life, no matter what your color or race or ethnic identity is sacred and valuable. They want the conversation to focus on Black lives because according to them, they are the ones that are aggrieved, they are the ones that are under attack, and they are the ones where the focus needs to be. And I think you see that knee-jerk reaction is just so evident.
Yeah, the Black Lives Matter organization, not the slogan itself, with which I agree with you that the emphasis on the category, on the group, is somewhat off-putting. But the real danger, I think, is with the organization, the Black Lives Matter Global Network.
Great distinction, because I think we can all agree, in that view of all lives matter, well, of course, Black Lives Matter.
Right.
And so, the slogan, yes, it's a catchy slogan. It resonates. It has meaning. But I think what you're referring to, the organization, the founders of Black Lives Matter, which, by the way, was born several years ago, I believe, out of the Ferguson riots, if I'm not mistaken.
It was born out of Trayvon Martin.
Correct.
And then it got a lot of speed out of Ferguson.
Correct. So talk to us about the organization Black Lives Matter, the principles behind it, and a little bit of its origins and what they're doing today.
Well, they're Marxist. The group, the organization is Marxist, as is the movement for Black Lives is also Marxist. If you go to their website and you look at what their list of demands, for example, the BLM Global Network, which is the main one, that's the one, asks for the dissolution of the patriarchal family, which is a concept that can be traced to Friedrich Engels, who created communism along with Karl Marx. But the founders say they're trained Marxists. They say it. And then if you have looked at their background, and I've written essays on this, Patrice Cullors, for example, trained in the Community Labor Strategy Center in LA, which is founded by Eric Mann. Eric Mann is a former member of the Weather Underground. The Weather Underground was this group in the 60s and 70s, which was denominated as a domestic terrorist group by the FBI. They set bombs, they killed people. Eric Mann himself spent 18 months in prison, and he has not abandoned the dream of global communism. And he trained Patrice Cullors for 10 years. Patrice Cullors is the woman who first thought up of the idea of Black Lives Matter. Then Alicia Garza, also a Marxist, attached a hashtag to it, and along with the third founder, Opal Tometi, they registered the Black Lives Matter organization, I believe, in 2015. It was funded until recently by a philanthropic. Well, I mean, I use the term. Yeah, that's not really philanthropy, but an organization called Thousand Currents. Thousand Currents has on its board yet another member of the Weather Underground, Susan Rosenberg. Susan Rosenberg also spent time in prison for possession of many explosives and armament that were going to be used in a terrorist attack. Her sentence was commuted by President Clinton in his last day in office, and she serves on this board because of the criticism they received. The Black Lives Matter global movement has now shifted to the Tide Center. The Tide Center is also a huge funder of the hard left. So this is a hard leftist group, a Marxist, a self-denominated Marxist group that is the founders that are behind the Black Lives Matter. And obviously they have used this tragedy, the death of George Floyd, to try to destabilize society and to try to change our Constitution. The Constitution, not just the Cap C Constitution of 1787, but Constitution with a small c, the way the government, the way our society is organized, our Constitution, they're trying to change that.
Right. Talk to me briefly about Antifa. What are the links of Antifa with the Black Lives Matter movement? It seems like they're working hand in glove.
Well, Antifa, it's very difficult to report on because I don't know if you've seen recently, Reason had a very interesting article saying, Reason is just a libertarian publication, not a conservative publication, which said that Antifa pre-approves the journalists that can cover the riots in Portland and the looting. And so you have to be, so they demand that you give these riots, these very violent attacks, very positive coverage, which is the reason why you never see any of the real mayhem that is taking place on our streets, on TV, or in a mainstream newspaper, which is really it's really sad because the media exists, journalism exists to inform the voter, and the voter is not being informed here.
Well, listen, I think journalism, as you and I know it, as you and I grew up with, died a long time ago in America. I'm a very strong proponent of the view that nowadays, the New York Times, the Washington Post, to a certain extent, a lot of the big media organizations are nothing more than propaganda ministries for the far left. I mean, the idea of them being objective sources of news is sort of laughable at this point. Everything they publish, whether it's in the quote-unquote news pages or the editorial pages, I don't have a problem with them printing whatever they want in the editorial pages, but the news is slanted. Their selection of the stories, what they put on the front page, how they craft their headlines. Right. Everything is designed and written in a way to fit their narrative and promote the far left agenda in the United States.
Yeah, I 100% agree. And it really bothers me because I was a journalist for many years. I like journalists. I'm friends with many journalists. And this is really a very troubling thing.
Right. So you mentioned also, you talked about in an essay that you published on social media, a gentleman that few people have heard about, but he struck a nerve with me, Antonio Gramsci from Italy, the leader of the Italian Communist Party. Talk to us about who Gramsci is and why he is important in terms of the ideological origins and particularly with our cultural institutions here in the United States.
So Antonio Gramsci is incredibly important. I mean, our children, anybody in school today, anybody at university is learning the lessons of Antonio Gramsci. Gramsci was the founder of the Italian Communist Party and the one who came up with the theory of cultural hegemony. He sat in prison, Mussolini threw him in prison, and he had a lot of time to think, and he realized that Marx and Engels had promised revolutions everywhere, that the working class was going to be constantly overthrowing the bourgeoisie, but this at his time had only happened in one place, in 1917, in the backwater part of Europe, Russia. And he said, well, the worker will never overthrow the bourgeoisie because the worker has bought into the culture, the nation state, the religion, the economic system of his oppressor. So the oppressor no longer needs to use the threat of violence. The worker is suppressing himself. The worker needs to be, he has false consciousness, and he needs consciousness raising sessions to change his mind, to come to understand his vassalage, his conditions of vassalage. This was then improved upon by Herbert Marcuse, who taught in America, who came to America, was a German-born academic. He personally taught Angela Davis. He was her mentor, the same Angela Davis as was invited to Cuba by Castro, who earned the Lenin Peace Prize from East Germany, one of the most repressive regimes behind the Iron Curtain, and who is now a professor, a very influential professor, who is the mentor herself of Patrisse Cullors and Alicia Garza, right, who are the founders of Black Lives Matter. So you have Gramsci, Marcuse, Angela Davis, Patrisse Cullors, and Alicia Garza. It goes back to Nietzsche.
Right. No, a very direct lineage. And by the way, you mentioned Black Lives Matter. Shortly after they, were formed in 2015, who was one of their first guests that they invited in the United States? None other than Nicolás Maduro from Venezuela. And you see the founders on videos that are very easy to find meeting with Maduro in Venezuela.
Yeah, Opal Tometi has had high praise for this Chavista idea of direct democracy. We can see how well that has worked in Venezuela and Caracas, but now we know that that's the system they'd like to bring here.
Right. All right, so give us some closing comments. We're sort of running out of time here. Show us that book again and tell people again how they can order your new book.
Well, this is a book that really should interest your Cuban American audience and your Venezuelan American audience. They're being enlisted unwittingly into a struggle to change America. The children are being told they're victims, that they're a persecuted minority, and to hate other people and to overthrow the American system that took us in. Obviously, America, as any other society, needs constant improvement, but this is not about constant improvement. This is about a wholesale change, and it's a Marxist-oriented idea. This is what your listeners need to understand. Cuban Americans, they have to understand what the category of Hispanic or Asian American or any of these other categories that the activists try to impose on Americans mean for them.
Right. So the book is called The Plot to Change America, written by Mike Gonzalez, a senior fellow at the Heritage Foundation. Mike, thank you for being with us on the program. Look forward to getting a copy of your book. Hopefully you'll find a way to autograph it for me. And thank you for being again on the program. I think very, very timely words of wisdom for our audience to truly understand what's going on in the world today. Thank you very much.
It's been my pleasure. Hasta luego.
Hasta luego. Ciao. We are ENTV USA. You can find us on Facebook, on YouTube, and on Roku. You can also download our mobile applications either from Google Play or from the Apple Store, depending on your online device. Give us a shot. You'll like what you see. Con una vista, basta.
Your body's immune system is under constant pressure from things like stress and toxins in the environment. It's crucial to be proactive and support your immune system. Introducing fast-acting Zinc Plus Immune Support by Youngevity. Unlike zinc-only supplements, Zinc Plus Immune Support builds on the proven power of zinc and adds complementary nutrients, while our proprietary blend of natural fruit and root extracts provides the extra help your immune system needs to work against daily stressors. And we've included Youngevity's exclusive plant-derived minerals to give your body the minerals it needs but can't get from food alone. And because Zinc Plus Immune Support is delivered in a great-tasting sugar-free berry-flavored lozenge, it encourages quicker absorption of all these nutrients into your body. Zinc Plus Immune Support. Zinc plus the extra support your body needs to promote a healthy immune system. To learn more, contact your Youngevity associate.
Super Greens is a one-of-a-kind blend that's loaded with hard-to-find nutrient-dense superfoods. We've used what we've learned from our more than 20 years working with mineral-based nutrition to create one of the healthiest, plant-based nutritional products available. Each superfood was carefully selected so that it complements and enhances the others, helping to maximize Super Green's nutritional power. Next, we added a specialized fermentation technique to increase the bioavailability of each superfood. Finally, we put in powerful probiotics and enzymes for added digestive support to give you jam-packed nutritional support. Youngevity Super Greens, the highly alkalinizing super supplement that helps balance your body. It's the superfood-powered way to get more organic fruits and veggies in your day, all in just one scoop. Check with your Youngevity distributor to learn more.
Paying attention to your overall health also means focusing on the command center of it all, your brain. Factors like stress, lack of sleep, poor diet, a sedentary lifestyle, and the bombardment of pollutants and toxins can all diminish brain and neural functions. When was the last time you concentrated on your brain health? Synaptive by Youngevity is a cutting-edge, unique brain support supplement that delivers powerful nutrients both immediately and throughout the day. Its anti-stress nutrients provide instant brain-boosting support that helps with mental focus and cognitive activity. To enhance your body's neuroprotection, Synaptive's full-spectrum antioxidant blend targets 6 major classes of free radicals that inhibit brain function. This powerful nutrient combination also promotes healthy blood flow to the brain. Synaptive, optimal antioxidant neuroprotection and support for a healthy brain. Now that's something to think about. To learn more, contact your Youngevity associate.
Antioxidants are essential to protect your cells against the damaging effects of free radicals. TURMERIC by Youngevity harnesses the power of nature to combat free radicals by delivering a potent boost of antioxidants known for their incredible healing properties. Sourced from certified organic turmeric root, TURMERIC contains 95% curcuminoids, the active compounds that quash free radicals. Turmeric has been used in Ayurvedic and Chinese medicine for thousands of years to promote both heart and brain health, as well as its powerful anti-inflammatory properties. We've also included a botanical blend of phytonutrients that include flavonoids, carotenoids, and sulfides. These natural, plant-based chemicals are powerful contributors to overall health and well-being. TURMERIC, the organic antioxidant supplement from Youngevity, formulated to promote optimal health. To learn more, contact your Youngevity associate.
Understanding your microbiome can change everything you thought you knew about nutrition, digestion, immunity, and metabolism. Ultimate Microbiome by Youngevity was specifically formulated to optimize this ecosystem. It provides the advanced support your gut needs through prebiotic, probiotic, and postbiotic supplementation. Our unique blend of probiotics includes Lactobacillus and Plantarum, healthy bacteria, which has been shown to aid in weight loss, sleep, mood, and may even help with seasonal allergies. To enhance digestion, Digizyme Multi-Enzyme Complex, a blend of 5 specific enzymes, has been added to Ultimate Microbiome. It can help break down food so your body can better absorb nutrients. Ultimate Microbiome, the scientific, proprietary, and holistic approach to gut health that helps optimize your body's entire gut ecosystem. To learn more, contact your Youngevity associate.
Just because you're a certain age doesn't mean you have to look it or feel it. Immortalium by Youngevity was developed to support your body's ability to age normally and healthfully. It's an advanced anti-aging supplement that combines the most effective essential nutrients in a cutting-edge, bi-layered and extended release tablet designed to support your telomere health and natural aging process. Telomeres are the biological clocks within your cells that form the protective ends of almost every chromosome in your body. Telomeres help prevent the chromosomes from deteriorating. The longer and healthier the telomeres in a cell, the greater the health and anti-aging benefits. Immortalium contains synergizing antioxidant enzymes and telomere health-promoting nutrients that are quickly absorbed to give your body time to break down the antioxidants and put them to work. Immortalium, advanced anti-aging support that can help fight the natural aging process. To learn more, contact your Youngevity associate.
As you age, factors like health, weight, diet, and lifestyle can all impact your bones, joints, and general mobility. Over time, you might start to experience stiffness or pain due to damaged joints or connective tissue. Ultimate Glucogel by Youngevity was created to help you limit the effects of wear on your joints. It delivers a daily dose of collagen-rich gelatin your body needs for joint elasticity and maintenance. Ultimate Glucogel contains a 1-to-1 ratio of gelatin and glucosamine sulfate, which is a key building block of your bone matrix, cartilage, ligaments, tendons, and connective tissue. Gelatin's unique blend of amino acids not only help with muscle and joint health, but also has been shown to provide additional benefits for the brain, skin, and hair. Ultimate Glucogel. Natural, optimal daily support for joint health. To learn more, contact your Youngevity associate.
Welcome back. Thank you for sticking with us. I hope you enjoyed that interview with Mike Gonzalez from the Heritage Foundation. Quite an interesting individual talking about his new book, The Plot to Change America. I encourage all of you to pick up a copy of it. As Mike mentioned, it's available on Amazon.com. It's not the first book he's written. Very bright fellow, Cuban-American like myself from South Florida. And I think it's a worthwhile read. I'm certainly going to get my copy. I've been reading a little bit up on his essays that he's been posting on social media. Very interesting. A lot of stuff going on this past week. Labor Day weekend, once again, very violent weekend in America. We had 53 people killed in the city of Chicago, including an 8-year-old girl caught in the crossfire of, I guess, gang warfare in an automobile in Chicago. Just absolutely horrendous what's going on. We've seen the protests now spread to Rochester as well as to Pittsburgh. You know, this is not getting any better. You know, this seems, in fact, to be getting worse. You know, and it reminds me of the fact that, you know, I think somehow the political leaders of these cities somehow thought that they could make a pact with the devil. I'm referring specifically to the mayor of Portland, Oregon, who has for the past 100 days pretty much sat on the sidelines as Antifa and Black Lives Matter activists, you know, loot and tear down the inner city of Portland and the suburbs as well. And, you know, now he's been kicked out of his own condominium. He's in hiding, and he's finding out that his acquiescence to the mob has now served him for nothing. I mean, the mob is now coming after him as well. And you know, I've seen this movie before. A lot of us have seen this movie before. The anarchists, the Marxists, the communists behind so much of the troubles that we are seeing have a term for these elected officials that are basically turning a blind eye and sort of giving them, and maybe not an explicit, but certainly an implicit wink of the eye to go ahead with the chaos that they are brewing in America. And you know, that term that these mob members have for these mayors and governors is that of being useful idiots. You know, useful idiots that they can use to their advantage with this mob violence going on in America to promote their radical social agenda. And the reason that the mayors and the governors have gone along for it is because initially the strategy of the Biden campaign was, hey, American cities are burning down, cops are, you know, killing black people indiscriminately. There is this incredible tension in America. I, Joe Biden, I'm going to sit here in the basement and just let it all play out. There is absolutely no need for me to go out because we are just going to coast into the White House because people are seeing this chaos and they're going to blame it on Donald J. Trump. Well, guess what? That hasn't exactly worked out for them the way they thought. Donald Trump has made a very convincing argument to the American people that the only way that this violence can be solved is by having overwhelming force and resources in those cities to clear out the streets and restore law and order. Unfortunately, precisely because Donald Trump is not a dictator, he cannot order those troops willy-nilly into those cities. That has to come from the states and from the mayors themselves asking for federal assistance, asking for the National Guard or other federal assistance to do precisely that. And they have refused to do so because they were going along with this, let's let America burn, so that folks get angry at Donald Trump and our man Joe Biden and Kamala Harris can sort of coast into the White House. Well, it hasn't worked out that way because Americans are seeing through that. And they're seeing that President Trump's offer of support to restore law and orders has been flatly rejected by practically all of these governors and mayors. And the chaos continues. And you're seeing it, on television. You're seeing, in Pittsburgh, the people drinking the beer of the diners and yelling in their face. And in Rochester, the same thing, tables being overturned for outdoor diners. Man, this is crazy. This is not the America that I grew up with, not the America that I'm used to seeing. I mean, we had some pretty violent demonstrations in the 60s, primarily anti-war protests. But what we're seeing right now, which is Americans clashing with each other, not over a war, but over the vision that Democrats have versus the vision that Republicans have. Two very different views of which direction our country should go in. The Democrats pushing very strongly to send our country in a direction of socialism versus capitalism, a direction of government control rather than freedom and individual liberties, a direction of more taxes, more government intervention in the economy as opposed to allowing the free market to thrive and succeed and continue to do the great things that they've done in America. Two very different visions for America. So the campaign is obviously in full swing. Voting has already begun in a number of states throughout the country. We are beginning to get reports of shenanigans going on in some of those elections. Saw something earlier this week. Apparently somebody dumping, massive bags of ballots in some shopping mall or something in California. We're going to begin to hear more and more of that because, a lot of these states are using absentee ballots or using mail-in ballots, and those ballots have already begun. And it's very easy for a mailman who's not particularly honest to realize that his route is a particularly conservative route or in a Republican neighborhood and can very easily make some of those ballots disappear if he's got bad intentions. Obviously a federal offense, but it can happen and it will happen. And I would encourage everybody listening to this program, don't depend on an absentee ballot or a mail-in ballot. You can go and vote in person. I voted in person in our primary here in South Florida on August 18th. I felt very secure about doing that. I got to the polling place. There were security guards outside. There were dispensers for hand sanitizers all over the place. People were encouraged to put on their masks before going into the polling place and maintain social distancing. That's exactly what happened. I got there, didn't have to wait very long in line, maintained my social distance, had my mask on, had sanitized my hands, and was able to vote early in that primary. Actually, the primary was on the 18th. I actually voted a couple days before, 13th I believe it was. So I voted a few days before and had no problems with voting it. So I would encourage you to do the same thing. I think it's going to work well. States have already tried this on numerous occasions now with these primary elections. I think they've got a good system in place, at least here in South Florida they do. And it's much harder to falsify a vote that is done in person than one that is done via an absentee ballot or one of these so-called mail-in ballots. So I would encourage everybody watching this program to in fact, vote in person. Don't depend on the absentee ballot or the mail-in balloting unless you absolutely have to. The economy, the U.S. economy seems to be getting back on track. We saw the unemployment numbers that came out late last week. We're now at 8.4% unemployment, busting through, I believe, the consensus estimate that it was going to be 9.1%. It's gone beyond that. We're starting to see Americans going back to work. Stock market took a bit of a downdraft late last week, not unexpectedly. We are almost up to the sort of pre-pandemic levels that we saw in February of this year, before the pandemic hit us. And it's not unusual after so many months of sort of a steady increase to see this kind of pause. So that doesn't really worry me, and I think most people, most professionals that follow financial markets will tell you exactly the same thing. This is not a bad sign. This is simply the market sort of catching its breath. A lot of news for investors to digest these days. The vaccines, what's going on, the rioting taking place in American cities. So it's not unusual for investors sometimes to sort of take this pause. The vaccine, absolutely, the U.S. is working on 3 separate vaccines. There is talk that there may in fact be ready before the election on November 3rd. You've got a number, I think one of the pharmaceutical CEOs coming out and saying, don't be afraid of it. We're following all the safety protocols and we're not going to release this until it's ready for human consumption, until it's safe. And I think we should follow that. And I think this government will follow that. Nobody is going to be taking this vaccine unless it has been proved effective and safe for us to take the vaccine. I don't think we're all going to be able to get it before year end. Obviously, we need to prioritize. There's certain people in our society that need it more than we do. But I think that vaccine will be out fairly shortly, and that will put us in a good situation coming into the new year, that we now have a solution for this problem at hand. I continue to be very distressed by what I see in terms of so many businesses being shut down, particularly in New York. I mean, every eatery in New York seems to be still shut down, causing enormous damage to that once great city of New York. Listen, we know how to control this virus. Most of the folks that I come across seem to be taking this mask mandate, or this mask mandate at the local levels at least, very seriously. They're wearing their masks, they're maintaining the social distancing. They realize that we have to do this. There's ways we can do it and remain safe. We can go into supermarkets, we can go to a lot of different places, and I think it's really high time that we open up these restaurants. They're a huge engine of small businesses in America, and we need to get them up and running again real soon. One other thing, still waiting, I guess, to hear the Durham report, what's going to happen there. Could be some news coming out of that report that may alter things going into the November 3rd election. But as I mentioned, just an awful lot of news going on in America. Generally speaking, some good news on the horizon in terms of the vaccine, in terms of the economy improving. Those are all good things for America. The bad news is we continue to see this incredible trauma on our streets, this violence going on, which is just downright un-American, man. I mean, it's the whole message of racial equality, George Floyd, has been completely lost. I hope you agree with me. I hope you'll work with us to get that violence under control. Write to your congressmen, your senators, tell them that you don't want to see this. Thank you for sticking with this program, and look forward to seeing you again next week here on Más con Más. Thank you very much. Take care.
Este programa es patrocinado por Café Cachita, el mejor para compartir.